Good morning. Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rabbi. How are you?
Okay, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Very good. You didn't have any problem getting on this morning?
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
I found the workaround how to, if I, like last time we got stopped, I found a way of going around that initial get on.
Yeah, okay. I have had to do that once or twice myself as well.
Yeah.
Lee is okay?
He's okay.
That's good. Okay, we've got a couple minutes before we get underway. We'll try to cover, they're long amudim. So we'll try to cover as much as we can. And tomorrow, again, we're going to start at 8 rather than 8.
Right, no problem.
So if I forget to remind everybody, will you mention it to me? Okay?
I will, no problem.
Thank you very much. Okay. What do you hear from your family? Everybody okay?
Baruch Hashem.
Yeah,
Yep, everyone is okay.
that's good.
You're getting bored.
Well, as I was speaking with my brother in the Boston area yesterday, he said, how many closets can you clean? He says they've got all, their kids are grown but not married. They said they've got all this stuff of theirs down like in their basement. So he thought he'd start going through all that stuff and get rid of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And his daughter, who was very active in skating, you know, has like a half a dozen old pair of skates. And he says, well, I'll dump them. And she says, why do you want to do that? She says, maybe when I get married and have children, they'll want to skate.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I don't know if I want to keep it that long.
Okay.
But no, there's only a certain amount of stuff you can do. All right, we're getting on. Okay.
All right.
Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started momentarily. I think I see Norma.
Hello. How are you?
How are you doing?
Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, things are okay there in your area in Israel?
Everything's great.
That's good to hear. Very good. Okay. Well, we talk with our kids in Ramat Beit Shemesh, and they're doing well, but other areas in Beit Shemesh itself have been problematic. So, but Israel still seems ahead of the United States in terms of being able to handle this business.
And the death rate is very low. We're about 202 or so.
Yeah,
And they started to open up stores yesterday.
Yeah.
right. Well, some states here are doing that as well. Whether they're wise in doing that, we'll have to wait and see. Good morning, Ted. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Good morning.
Okay,
Morning,
we'll get
Ted.
underway momentarily. I'm waiting for Erwin. Okay. I ask everybody to mute themselves as we'll get underway. And Erwin will, I'm going to just quickly review the Mishnah on the bottom of Nun Bet Amud Beis, right? And then we'll jump right into today's text, which is Nun Gimel. Okay. So basically, just a quick review. The Mishnah was telling us again, still dealing with the issue of animals going out on Shabbat, whether the animal wearing something would be considered an adornment, and therefore that would be considered inappropriate on Shabbat. Morning, Erwin. Okay. I'm just reviewing quickly the Mishnah, or whether it's something that can be used and had a viable purpose for the welfare of the animal. Okay. And so it gave a number of examples. One was a donkey going out with its, excuse me, with its saddle cloth, saddle blanket tied underneath it. Another was in regards to the question of rams. Okay, another was ewes. Okay, another was goats. Right, Rabbi Yossi then responded, okay, that the concern here was whether the why these genitalia of these animals could have been tied up, or the udders of the animal could have been tied up or hidden in some manner. Okay, and that's where the Gemara was ending with Rabbi Yehuda then raising a challenge that it depended on the purpose. If it was done to dry up, in other words, so that the animals would be able to still have copulate with other animals, that's one thing. But if it was done to prevent, to save the milk, to dry up the milk supply, that was not the appropriate case. And so we start now on Nun Gimel Amud Aleph with the Gemara. Amar Shmuel, says Shmuel on the very top of the Amud, right? V'hu shekshura lo me'erev Shabbat. And this implies, says Shmuel, that it was tied, we assume it's the Resha, the beginning, the donkey with the saddle cloth, that it was tied before Shabbat started, right? Amar Rav Nachman, says Rav Nachman, matnitin nami daika, that our Mishnah actually does specify this. Why? The Katani ein hachamur yotzei b'merdat b'zman she'enak shura lo. That our Mishnah said that the donkey cannot go out with the saddle cloth, right, at the time when it's not tied to him. Hechidami, what are we talking about here? Ilema she'enak shura lo bichlal. Okay, if we were saying that it was not tied onto it whatsoever, pshita, isn't that obvious? Dilma nafla le, perhaps the saddle blanket or the will fall off. Va'ate la'atuye, and the owner will come and into the Rishus Harabim to pick it up and carry it. El lav she'inak shura me'erev Shabbat, but rather, doesn't it mean that it wasn't tied tightly to the animal from twilight, from before Shabbat started? Miklal, the Reisha Kshura Lo Me'erev Shabbat. So this seems to say that the initial statement of our Mishnah talks about the saddle blanket being tied from Erev Shabbat. Shma mina. Indeed, that's what it tells us. Okay, going on then. Now, Tanya, Nami Hachi. Braita teaches something else. Chamor Yaitse, B'merdat, B'zman Shekshura Lo Me'erev Shabbat, V'lo Ba'okef. Okay, that this Braita tells us further that a donkey can go out with its saddle blanket, so to speak, so long as it is tied from twilight, from Erev Shabbat, but not with a saddle. Afal pi shekshura lo me'erev Shabbat. Even though, okay, the saddle itself could be tied from Erev Shabbat. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel omer, af be'okef, bizman shekshura lo me'erev Shabbat. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel disagrees with the Baal of the from the Tosefta, from the Braita, okay, saying that the saddle also, if it's tied from Erev Shabbat, okay, in that case, right, it should be, because we could argue that provides warmth for the animal as well. Okay? Ubilvad shelo yikshur lo b'srichan, so long as it's not tied with a stomach belt. Okay, underneath the stomach of the animal. Ubilvad shelo yifshol lo ritzua tachet znavo, and also so long as it's not passed beneath the tail of the animal. So in other words, they would need to tie the saddle in two places. One, a strap that went totally underneath the belly of the animal, and the other, another strap that went behind underneath the tail of the animal. Ba'mine Rav Asi. So Rav Asi, son of Rav Natan, asks the following question, right? Mi Rabbi Chia bar Rav Ashi. Mahu litain mirdad al gabe chamor b'Shabbat. What about the idea of placing this blanket, okay, on the donkey on Shabbat itself? Amarle, he answered him, mutar, it's permitted. Amarle, and he came back to him and said, V'chima ben zela okef. If that's the case, what's the difference between that and a saddle? Ishtik. Okay. At that point, okay, Rabbi Chia was silent. Okay, did not have an answer. Okay, Eitive. Okay, now at this point, okay, implying that perhaps his silence meant that an answer wasn't necessary. He's going to challenge him. Eitive. I will challenge it with the following, perhaps. Okef she'al gabe chamor lo yataltena biyado. Okay, that a saddle on the donkey cannot be removed by hand. Okay, ela molicha umavi'a b'chatzer v'hu nofel me'alav. But you lead the animal around, okay, in the courtyard, back and forth, until the saddle falls off of its own. Hashta lito amrat lo. Here, he said that you cannot even allow it to be moved. Lahaniach nibaye, to put it on the animal. Okay, is there any need to even ask that? Amarle Rabbi Zera. So Rabbi Zera responds, Shavke, okay, leave it alone. Kirabe sevirale, because he agrees with his teacher. The Amar Rav Chia bar Ashi Amar Rav, because Rav Chia bar Ashi said in Rav's name, Tolin tarsakal lebehema b'Shabbat, that it's permitted to handle and leave a feed bag or a feed basket on an animal around its neck on Shabbat. The kal v'chomer limerdat, and how much more so can we say the saddle blanket on its back? Ma hatam mishum ta'anug shari. Okay, and there, since it seems for the benefit, the pleasure of the animal, it's permitted. Hacha the mishum tsar lo kol shekain. And here, if it's going to cause displeasure or suffering to the animal, how much more so should it be allowed? Okay. Shmuel Amar, and Shmuel responds, Mirdat mutar tarsikol asur, that the saddle blanket is permitted, but the feed bag is forbidden. Now, Azal Rabbi Chia bar Yosef. Rabbi Chia bar Yosef went, Amra l'shma'ate de Rav, and he went and told this to Rav. Kame de Shmuel. Okay, Rav's ruling before Shmuel. Okay, Amarle. So Shmuel's response was, Yachi Amar Abba. If that's what Abba, in other words, if that's what Rav said, Lo yada b'mile deshabta v'lo klum. It would seem to imply that he doesn't know what matters on the Shabbat. However, what happens? Ki salik Rabbi Zera. when Rabbi Zera went up to Eretz Yisrael, okay, Ishkacheh the Rabbi Binyamin bar Yefet. He found one of the other sages there, Rabbi Binyamin bar Yefet, okay, and what was he doing? Diyati v'ka'amar le mishmei de Rabbi Yochanan, that he was learning, sitting and learning the same issue based on what Rabbi Yochanan said, namely the following, right? Notnim mirdat al gabe chamor b'Shabbat, that it's permissible to put the saddle cushion, okay, or the blanket, saddle blanket, on the animal on Shabbat. Amar le, and he said to him, Yashar, well said. V'chein tigama Aryoch b'Bavel. And likewise, this was said by Aryoch in Babylonia. Aryoch here is a reference to Shmuel. Okay? The implication could be that nickname, okay, given that he was like an Ari, like a lion. In other words, he was so well respected in civil matters, okay, that his decisions, so to speak, ruled in that regard. Okay? Aryoch mano, Aryoch is who? Shmuel. He says that is Shmuel, right? Baha Rav, Nami Amra. But Rav also ruled on this topic, says the Gemara. Elasham'e dahu misayim ba be ve'ein tolin traskal b'Shabbat. Okay? But here he said that the following, that you have to say that the feed bag cannot be hung around the animal's neck on Shabbat. Okay? And what happened? Right? Amar le Yashar. And he said that was well said, implying V'chein tirgama Aryoch b'Bavel. Okay, and that was how it was taught by Shmuel and Bavel. Dekuli alma mihat mirdaat muta. Okay, which seems therefore to present to us the idea that in all cases, okay, putting the blanket, the saddle blanket on the animal on Shabbat is permitted. Ma'ishana ma'okaf. If that's the case, what then is the difference regarding a saddle itself? Shani hata. We say it is different there, right? The efshar the nafil mimela. Why? Because that is possible to come off, to fall off by itself. Okay. Now, Rav Papa, Amar kan lechamama, kan letznana. Okay, Rav Papa, however, wants to suggest maybe a different example of differences between the saddle and the saddle blanket, namely the saddle blanket itself, okay, is for keeping the animal warm, okay, whereas the saddle itself, okay, which is a different item, right, the removing of the saddle really, litznana, is ordered to cool the animal. Lechamama eat leitzara. If the animal gets warm, it's suffering. Litznana lit leitzara. But to cool off, there is no suffering for the animal. V'hainu da'amre inshe, and this is why people say, in other words, chamra afilu b'tkufat Tammuz karirela, that a donkey, even in the time of the Tkufat Tammuz, the summer solstice, in other words, even in the heat of the summer, okay, can still be cold. Okay, now we go on to a challenge that's raised with another Braita. Meitive. Okay, we have another Braita that tells us again this question of what can the animal wear when it goes out into the public domain. Lo yetze hasus b'zanav shu'al, that a horse cannot go out while it's wearing a tail of a fox. Okay, this was some sort of a, if you remember, I don't know, sometimes in the circus years ago, then they would have horses go around, the horses would have some sort of a plume, right, on their halter. Okay, so something similar to that. Velo bezaharorit. Okay, and also we say that the, okay, they know they can't have a strap, okay, a crimson piece of wool or a red wool or crimson piece of strap, shebein einav, between their eyes. Lo yetze hazav bekis shelo. The Braita continues that a person who is zav cannot go out with carrying his bag, okay, which was done, okay, a pouch, okay, to collect his flow and not dirty his clothes on Shabbat. V'lo izim b'kis shebedadehen. And also they don't permit the goats to go out with any kind of pouch, okay, attached to their udders. Okay, right? V'lo para b'chason shebapiha. And we also don't permit, okay, a cow to go out with any kind of a muzzle on its mouth. V'lo sayachim v'tarsa kalim shebapiem l'reshut harabim. And we don't permit young foals to go out with their food bags on their mouths in the public domain. Okay? Not only that, v'lo behema b'sandal sheberagleha. And we don't permit animals to go out with their shoes on their feet. V'lo b'kameya afal pi shahu mumche. And we don't permit the animals to go out with an amulet on it, even though the amulet is effective. V'zo chomer b'behema miba'adam. And this is a stringency in regards to animals more than that of human beings. Okay, so right? Implying that the animal cannot wear an amulet, but a person could. Okay, aval yotzehu, but the animal may go out ba'agad she'al gabe hamakeh, with a bandage that's on a wound, ubekashishin, okay, or with splints, she'al gabe hashever, on a broken limb, ubeshilya hamuduldelet ba, okay, or with its shilya, okay, it's the forget the word in English now, the afterbirth, right, that can be hanging from it. Okay, also upokakin la zug b'tzavara, and one needs to plug up the bell, the okay, that could be around its neck. Okay, umatayelet imo b'chatzer, okay, katani, right? And therefore, then with all that, one could, however, walk these animals inside a courtyard. Katani mihat, nevertheless, okay, right, it's still taught, v'lo sayachin b'tarsaklin shebapihem l'reshut rabbi, that this Braita specifically says that foals cannot go out with the feed bags on their mouths in the public domain. The reshut harabim hudalo, which implies in the public domain it's not permitted. B'chatzer shapir dami. Does this mean then that in the courtyard it's acceptable, it's permitted? Okay. My lav b'gdolim umishum ta'anug. What about in terms of larger animals? Are we going to say there that it's beneficial, it's a pleasure for the animal? No. B'ktanim umishum tsar. No, we're talking about smaller animals, and the reason we state that it cannot carry it is because it's going to cause suffering to the animal. Daikanami, and this we can deduce specifically. The katani, why? Because it's written on the top of the next amud, dumia de kamiya, because it's considered similar to an amulet. Okay, shmamina. Indeed, that proves that's the case. Okay, now we're continuing on the top of Nun Gimel Amud Beis. Amarma. Okay, the master has said, velo b'kamiya, and not with an amulet, afal pi shehu mumcha, even though it's proven to be effective. Vaha, and in this case, anantnan, we've learned, velo b'kamiya she'eino mumcha, and not with a amulet that's not effective. Ha mumcha shapir dami. Okay, here this would therefore seem to imply that with a proven amulet, it should be fine. Hachanami, here too, she'eino mumcha. Here too, we're not saying that it's been proven effective, particularly for the animals. Aha, afal pi shehu mumcha katani, even though we say that it has been proven effective, mumcha la'adam, ve'eino mumcha lebehema. It may be effective for a person, but we're not saying that it's been effective for an animal. So the Gemara then asks, Umi ika mumche la'adam v'lo have mumche lebehema? Is it possible for the amulet to be viable, effective for a person and not for an animal? And, says the Gemara, yes, Adam de'itle mazala misayele. A person, okay, who has a mazal, what we'll use the phrase a guardian angel, so to speak, okay, will help him. Behema de litle mazala lo misayele. But an animal that doesn't have this mazal, this guardian angel, doesn't help. Also could understand it, okay, that a person who believes in the effectiveness, in the efficiency of the amulet, trusts in it, okay, therefore, that's one thing. Animals, however, don't have that ability to believe in the efficacy of such an amulet. Ihachi, ma'izeh chomer b'behema mi ba'adam. If that's the case, what do we mean then when we say that there's a greater stringency in regards to animals than with persons? Mi svarat akameakai. Do we think we're talking therefore about amulets? Asandal kai. No, there we're talking about the issue of the shoe. Okay? In other words, that the animal may not be let out with shoes on, but a person can go out with a shoe on. New piece in the Gemara. Okay? Tashma. Listen to the following brighter. Sakin. All right? Sachin, actually. Umefar chasin la'adam. It's permitted to smear oil and to scrape a scab for a person. Ve'ein sachin umefar chasin lebehema. But it's not permitted to smear oil or to scrape a scab on the animal. Okay? What's the reasoning? Right? Lav de'ika maka umishum tsar. Isn't this a situation where there is a wound and to prevent, so to speak, suffering on the part of the animal? No, says the Gemara. The Gemar maka umishum ta'anug. No, it's a situation we're talking about where the wound has healed and it's simply beneficial and a pleasure for the animal. Tashma, listen to the following brighter. Behema she'achza dam. Okay, if we have an animal that has some sort of blood congestion, okay, which is going to increase the body temperature of the animal. Okay. Ein ma'amidin ota b'mayim b'shvil shetitztaneh. One is not permitted to have the animal stand in water in order to cool it off. Okay. Adam she'achzo dam, but a person who has this blood congestion, increasing the body temperature, ma'midin oto b'mayim b'shvil sheyitztaneh. It's permissible to put a person in water, right, or for the person to stand in water, so they will cool off. Amar Ula, gzera mishum shchikat simamanim. Okay, why do we prohibit it for the animal? Lest the person come and try to crush some sort of herbs to make a medicine for the animal. Ihachi adam nami. If that's our rationale, says the Gemara, shouldn't that apply to persons as well? Adam nir'eh kamekar, says the Gemara. No, when a person goes into the water, he says it simply appears like the person is cooling himself off, okay, and not necessarily looking to do it for any medicinal purposes. Okay? Ihachi, says the Gemara, behema, nami nir'eh kamekar. With regards to the animal, wouldn't it also look like it's simply cooling itself off? Ein mekar lebehema. Okay, there is no simply cooling off for an animal. Lebehema migazrinen. Okay, and regarding the animal, okay, do we really make a gzera preventing that? V'hatanya, but wasn't it taught elsewhere in another braita? Haita omedet chutz l'tchum. If an animal was outside of the Shabbos boundary, the tchum, korei la vehi ba'a. It's permissible for the owner to call to the animal, okay, and make the animal, okay, to come to it, right, to approach it, okay. V'lo gazrinan dilma ate la'atuye. And we don't make a decree there lest the person actually go to bring the animal. Amar Ravina, says Ravina, in this case, what are we talking about? Okay. Kagon shehaya tchum shala muvla betoch tchum shalo. Namely, that the tchum of the animal where the animal was located was still part of the tchum of the person. In other words, if we think of a tchum, let's say, as a circle, okay, and the person was at a certain point in the circle, the animal, where the animal was located, was also within its tchum, but it also was partly in the tchum of the person as well. Now, we go to a new statement. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Amar, Shchikat simamanim gufa tanaihi. The issue of crushing the herbs to make medicine, that itself is a machloket tanaim. The Tanya is taught, behema she'achla karshini. If we have an animal that eats vetch, right, a kind of vegetable that's going to cause constipation on the part of the animal, lo yirit sena bechatzer, b'shvil shetitrapeh. Okay, that he's saying that, okay, one cannot run the animal around in the courtyard to cure it. But Rabbi Oshaya matir, but Rabbi Oshaya permits it. The Rash Rabbah, and Rabbah did a public lecture saying, right, halacha ka Rabbi Oshaya, that the law is like Rabbi Oshaya. Going on now, another new statement. Amar Rab, says Rab. Coming back really in this case, okay, to something we saw with regards to the Zav. Lo yetze hazav b'kis shelo. The Zav may not go out carrying his pouch. Okay? V'lo izim b'kis shebedadehen. And goats cannot go out with some sort of pouch attached to their udders. Vahatanya. But don't we have another Braita that teaches Yotzot izim b'kis shebedadehen? That the Braita that teaches that it's permissible to allow goats to go out. Okay, again, remember on Shabbat in the public domain, okay, with this pouch around their udders. Amar Rav Yehuda, says Rav Yehuda in this case, lo kasha. It's not a problem, he says. The mahadek, where in one case we're talking about when it's tied tightly, when it's fastened tightly, okay? Therefore, there's no fear that it's going to fall off, and that lest the owner carry it. Ha-de-lo mahadek. In the other case, where we say, excuse me, that it's not tied tightly. Sorry. Rav Yosef Amar, Tanai, Shakalt Ma'alma. Okay, Rav Yosef says, okay, you are leaving off the Tanaim's discussion totally, completely. Tanaihi. This also is a Machloket Tanaim. That's because we learned in a Mishnah, Ha'izim Yotzot Tzrurot, that goats can go out when it was tied tightly. Right? Rabbi Yossi Oser Bekulan, Chutz min Harechalot Hamechuvonot. And Rabbi Yossi forbids it except for those ewe goats that are tied. Right? Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Izim Yotzot Tzrurot Liavesh. And Rabbi Yehuda, however, says that the goats can go out when they are tied in order to prevent any kind of lactation and allow for conception, aval lo lichalev, but not in order to simply dry up the milk supply. Ve'ebayat ema, and if you want, I would ask, havaha, or I might say really, havaha Rabbi Yehuda, that both examples are statements of Rabbi Yehuda, velo kasha, and it's not a problem. Why? Kan liavesh, because in one instance where he says that it's permitted to tie, it's to hold back the lactation and allow for conception. Kan lichaylev, where it's not permitted, it's not permitted in order to dry up the milk supply. Tanya Amar Rabbi Yehuda. And we have a Braita where Rabbi Yehuda tells us as follows. Ma'aseh be'izim beit Antochia. We have a situation where the goats of Beit Antochia, shahayu dadehen gasim, that the udders were very large. Va'asu lehen kisim, kadei shalo yisartu dadehen. And they made these pouches to keep the udders safe, intact, in order so that they're not scratched. Tanu Rabbanan, another Braita. Ma'aseh be'echad shemeta ishto. We have a situation where a certain man, his wife died, right? V'hinicha ben liyanek, and she died at childbirth and left a child that needed to be nursed. V'lo haya lo schar minika liten, and he did not have the money to pay a wet nurse. V'ne'eselo nes, v'niftechu lo dadim, kishnei dadei isha, v'hiniket bano. And a miracle occurred, and he developed breasts just like a woman, and he was able to nurse the child. Amar Rav Yosef, says Rav Yosef, Bo'u ra'ei kama gadol adam zeh shene'aseh lo nes kazeh. Come and see how great this man must have been that such a miracle occurred to him. Right? By the way, Talmudology, if you're interested, has that a discussion on that issue. Okay? Amar le Abaye, he says Abaye, Adraba, just the opposite. Kama garua adam zeh. Right? How terrible that situation. Shenishtanu lo sidrei breshit. Okay? That the normal order of creation was reversed. Amar Rav Yehuda, says Rav Yehuda, Ba'ur'e kama kashim mizonotav shel adam, shenishtanu alav sidrei breshit. Come and see how difficult the food situation was of that man, that it resulted in the necessity for Hashem to change the normal order of creation. Amar Rav Nachman, says Rav Nachman, Teda the mitrachesh nisa, v'lo avru mezonai. Okay, come and see, okay, that this miracle occurred and it did not result, okay, in the a deficit, okay, in his situation of foodstuffs. Okay. Okay. So let's go on now. All right. And that he had food miraculously created. New Braita. Tanu Rabbanan, says the Braita. Ma'aseh ba'adam echad shenasha isha hidmat v'lo hikir ba'ad yom mota. A situation happened that a man once married a one-armed woman, right? And he did not recognize it till the day she passed. Amar Rav, says Rav, Bo ra'eh kama tznuah isha zo. See how modest this woman was. Shelo hikir ba ba'ala, that the husband didn't recognize this situation. Amar lo Rabbi Chia, says Rabbi Chia, zo darka bechach, ke'ele kama tznuah adam zeh shelo hikir be'ishto. Okay, that may have been the situation of the woman, but see how great the man was, how modest he was, that he didn't, when they had relations, he did not look to see what was going on with her body. Back to our Mishnah. All right, Zecharim Yotzim Levuvim. We said that the rams go out, and we said Levuvim could be understood as in couples or in pairs. My Levuvim, what do we mean? Levuvin, asks the Gemara. Amar Rav Huna Totre. We said that they're in pairs, in couples. My Mashma, the high Levuvin, Lishna de Karovehu. How do we know that this term Levuvin comes to tell us that they're close together? In other words, in pairs, in couples. Dichtiv, why? Because we have a pasuk, Levaftani achoti kala, okay, citing from Shir Hashirim, okay, a pasuk that the bride is close to him. Ula amar, or shekshurim lahem, keneged libam. Okay, Ula is telling us that they took a piece of hide and they tied it close to their hearts. Okay. Kadei shelo yiplu aleihem ze'avim. All right. In other words, why did they tie it close really to the udders? Okay, to their source, right? So that they wouldn't be attacked by the wolves. Ze'evim azcharim nafle. Do the wolves only attack the male animals? The rams? On the kivot lo nafle, on the ewes, the female animals, they don't attack? Ask the question. Mishum dimasku Baresh Adra. Why do they attack? Okay, because the rams lead the herds. V'ze'evin Baresh Adra Nafle. And we are saying that the wolves attack at the head of the herds. Besof Adra Lo Nafle. At the end of the herds, they don't attack. Ela Mishum Deshamne. But rather because the rams are heavier, fatter. B'nekevot Leka Shamne. And in the ewes, they're not fat. V'tu Miyade Ben Hani Lahani. And do the wolves really know the difference between this one and that one? Ela mishum dezakve chodmaihu masgu ki davu. But rather, it's because the rams go out, so to speak, with their noses raised. In other words, they go out in such a manner that they're very forceful, haughty almost. Okay, umasgu ki davu. Okay, and they're looking on both sides. It's as if they challenge the wolves. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, okay, gives another statement. Amar, he says, or shekoshrin lahen tachet zachrutan. Okay, he says they tie these pouches around the male organ, kadei shelo ya'alu, so that they won't copulate, they won't al hanekevot, on the female animals. Mimai, on what basis do you say this? Midikatani sefer, since it's written afterwards at the end of our Mishnah, v'harechalim yotzot shechuzot, that the young goats, okay, go out shechuzot. My shechuzot. What do we mean by shechuzot? Right? She'ochazin ha'aliyah shelahem lamala, that they bind or they tie up their fat tail behind them, tie it up, kadei sheya'alu alehen zicharim, in order that the male animals will copulate with them. Reisha, kadei shelo ya'alu al hanekeva. The early part of the Mishnah was explained that they don't go on the females. The Sefer, kadei sheya'alu alehen zicharim. And the end part of the Mishnah is being explained that they will copulate with the males. Mai mashma dahai shechuzot. Okay, lishna de galui hava. How and what way can we say that the word shechuzot is language that says something is revealed? Dichtiv. Why? Because it says elsewhere, and again in Mishlei, v'hinei isha v'krato, okay, shit zona unitzora lei. Okay, that it's basically telling us, behold, there a man met a woman who is exposed like a zona and wily of heart. I'm going to continue a little bit more on Nun Daled, since tomorrow we're only going to start at 8. We'll start earlier at 8 o'clock, but we only have a half hour. Okay, so we'll cover a bit of tomorrow's daf now. Right? Rechalim yotzot kivulot. Here again, we say that the ewes, okay, go out again, bound or tied. Right? My kvulot. What do we mean here, tied? Shemechablin aliyah shelahem lamata. Again, that they bind up the tails above. Kadei shelo ya'alu alehen hazicharim. Again, so that the males will not copulate with them. Mai, what do we mean? Mashma, the high kabul, lishna delo avid piri. How do we know that this word kibul here is the kind of language that tells us in order not to produce fruit, not to produce heirs? Hu dichtiv, why? Because elsewhere again, it's written in Malachim, Ma ha'arim ha'ele asher natata li achi vayikra lehen eretz kavul ad hayom hazeh. Okay, when Shlomo is talking to the king of Tyre and he complains, what cities are these that you've given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul. Ma'i Eretz Kabul. What do we mean, the land of Kabul? Amar Rav Huna, says Rav Huna, Shahayu ba b'nei Adam shemechubalin b'kesef u'v'zahav. Why, says Rav Huna? Because in these cities there lived people who were overflowing, so to speak, smothered with gold and silver. Amar le Rabba, says Rabba, and the implication is since they were so wealthy, they were not willing to participate in a workforce. Amar le Rabba, and Rabba says, Ihachi, if that's the case, okay, Hainu dichtiv. Here, however, it says, Kilo yashru be'enav, that it didn't please him. Mipnei shebechubalin b'kesef u'b'zahav lo yashru be'enav, because they were so rich and overflowing, so to speak, with silver and gold, that didn't please him. Amar le'en kevan da'atire, okay, yes, because since they were rich, u'mifanke, and they were spoiled, all right? Lo avde avidata, okay, that we say that they were not willing to work, okay? Weren't willing to act, as I say, in the corvée, in the work service. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak amar eretz chomton haita. No, he explains it differently, Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Okay, that this was a very sandy land, sandy area. Va'amai kari le kavul. And why then did they call it kavul? The mishtarga bakara ad kavla. That what would happen was that their legs would sink, their feet would sink into the sand, into the ground, up to their kabul, up to their ankle. Va'amre inshe, and therefore that's why people say, right? Va'amre inshe, ara mechavla. It is a land that is ankle bound. In other words, it's not good land to produce any kind of fruit. The lo avde piri. It does not produce any fruit whatsoever. So now remember we said that there were other examples, okay, regarding the animals. Kivunot, when we say it was covered. Mai kvunot, what do we mean that it was covered? Shemechavnin oto lamela, okay, that they covered the sheep, okay, private parts with fine wool, okay, but not just their private parts, other parts of the animal as well, okay, to produce fine wool. In other words, if they kept certain parts of the animal covered, that wool would stay white and clean, okay, it would not get dirty, and therefore it would produce a better quality wool. Keditznan, as we're taught elsewhere in a Mishnah, Sa'et Ketsemer Lavan, that the example, one of the examples of skin rash, skin leprosy, is the color of white, a pure white. Ma'it Semer Lavan, what do we mean when we say that it's white wool? Amar Rabibi bar Abai, says Rabibi bar Abai, Ketsemer Naki. We're talking about that it's pure wool, ben yomo, as if it's from a brand new sheep that's been covered from birth. Shemechabninan oto lamilat, that they cover it so that it remains very pure, and very fine. Okay, we've got a few more minutes and then we'll stop. All right. Right. V'ha'izim yotzot tzrurot. When we say the goats are led out, okay, with their udders tied, right? Itmar, it was said, Rav Amar halacha Rabbi Yehuda. Rav said the law was like Rabbi Yehuda. Shmuel Amar halacha Rabbi Yossi. And Shmuel said the law is like Rabbi Yossi. V'ika dematne lahashmata ba'afei nafshe. And there are those, however, who teach this lesson by itself. In other words, in not any connection with our Mishnah. Okay, as a separate controversy, like the following: Rav Amar liyavesh mutar. Rav says to dry up the milk supply, okay, to prevent lactation. It's permitted. Velo lechalev, and not to stop the milk flow. All right, hold back the milk. Shmuel Amar echad zeh ve'echad zeh asur. And Shmuel says, whether it's this purpose or the other purpose, it's both forbidden. Ve'ika dematne la'aha. And there are the others who teach this controversy on the following: Izim yotzot shurot v'yavesh, that the goats may go out, okay, tied in order to prevent the lactation, aval lo lechalev, but not to hold back giving the milk supply. Umishum Rabbi Yehuda ben Batera, and based on the statement of Rabbi Yehuda ben Batera, Amru kach halacha, they said this is the law. Aval mim refayes. Okay, all right. Okay, can we really choose, all right, or draw lots, so to speak, directly? Ezel yavesh ve'ezel lechalev. Which animals were tied up for the purpose of preventing lactation and which to hold back the milk supply? Mitoch she'ein makirin echad zeh ve'echad zeh asur. And since we can't tell the difference, we therefore say in both cases it's forbidden. Amar Shmuel, and this is what Shmuel said, Va'amri la Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel. And others say it was Rav Yehuda in the name of Shmuel, Halacha Rabbi Yehuda ben Batera. The law is like Rabbi Yehuda ben Batera. Ki ata Ravim, and when Ravim came, Amar Rabbi says Rabbi Yehuda halacha ketana kama. Now he argues that the halacha was like the first Tana, namely that in this case we're saying that in both cases the Mishnah says it is permitted. And we're going to stop right there today. Okay? So everybody have a good day and stay well, and encourage you to watch the program tonight, and tomorrow we'll see everybody at 8 o'clock.
Thank you
Okay.
very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.